Okay, so here we are today at our podcast titled Wise Tech for Wise Money, AI and Modern Advisory Today. We explore how technology, and especially AI, is transforming financial advisory, wealth management and compliance. I'm Gary Wayne of A1 Solutions, and today I'm joined by Dan Thompson, CEO of Wise Money Tools. Dan, before we start, could you share a bit about your background and what your main focus is?
Yeah, good. Well, nice to be with you today. So, I actually started as a traditional stockbroker back in 1986. So, yeah, I'm an old dude. And I spent a lot of time really trying to figure out that market. It kind of transitioned into more traditional financial planning where we got into involved in retirement and all the different avenues that go in that direction. But then over here, we had what's called the dot-com boom and bust in the 90s. And it just really kind of threw me because I had so many clients getting ready to retire. And it was just really frustrating to see that their accounts were hit dramatically. So I kind of set out in the early 2000s to find a better way to help my clients to make it more predictable. And over the last, oh gosh, I guess 25 years, I've gone very alternative. So in other words, we don't typically stay in traditional markets. We're looking for opportunities in real estate, oil and gas, equipment leasing, even e-commerce stores, Bitcoin mining. And we've kind of taken this whole alternative approach with an emphasis of tax reduction. So we have a lot of opportunities to get into investments that reduce, even eliminate taxes for our clients, which gives them more money to invest and save and build their wealth. So that's kind of where I've been at the last 26 years. We love to leverage life insurance because it's a very safe asset that you can dual purpose. So we'll oftentimes use a policy to fund our other investments. But maybe that's a little deeper than you want to go right now. But that's exactly what I think people need to be looking for is alternatives, ways to reduce taxes, and build their wealth a lot more predictably.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I was actually around in the dot-com boom and I boomed and I busted, just like a lot
There
of
you go.
people. Yeah, I remember, I was trading and I remember buying shares, for $50 and they were opening up $1,000, you know, buying shares at $15 and they opened up $100 and everybody thought it would never stop. And then in 2000, boom, it just went over the side of a cliff. And actually, I mean, the new issue market, IPOs, has never been the same since.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and it took a lot of people out. I mean, what I do recall before we move on is people talking about the favoritism shown to people like Enron and all this and the other, and how they were going to put a stop to all that. But from my experience, it's got worse. In
I would agree.
allocations and market distribution, the top 2% get everything, and the other guys get nothing. So, to diversify as you have, I think is the right direction. Just moving on from there, talking about financial markets, what's the biggest changes you've seen in financial advisory since you took it up in 86 to 90, whatever?
Well, I can tell you that the biggest change that I've seen, and we're actually seeing it even more dramatically now, is the advent of crypto and maybe specifically Bitcoin. Watching what happened, since 2011, when it was like tinfoil hat, crazy stuff, to see it turning mainstream, particularly in the last couple years, with governments and institutions and ETFs and all the different corporations that are putting it on their balance sheet. I think that's the biggest change in my lifetime, tell you the truth.
I mean, all these Bitcoin mining programs, I mean, there's a lot of scams out there. How you differentiate between the good and the bad?
Well, we made it easy on ourselves. I have a partner who's been mining since 2013, and I just partnered with him. So we just created our own mining company. So makes it really easy to distinguish what works and what doesn't work because we actually have our own mining company.
I'd love to look at that actually. Once we're finished, there's something that interests me. With regard to AI, I mean, how do you find it impacting investment management, financial advisory, and compliance? Or is it too early to say?
No, we use AI every day, not only from a compliance side. For instance, if we're looking to do some sort of marketing campaign, running it through AI and getting the compliance take on it is kind of gives us a head start ahead of compliance, if you will. But where we really see it beneficial is when we put together our investment strategies. For instance, we tend to use a very significant and proprietary options strategy with our Bitcoin and our Bitcoin mining, and AI can help us create formulas and methodologies so much faster, and then we can test it out, and we don't have to spend years and years trying to invent the wheel. Literally, AI can help us get there within days.
Do you find there's any challenges when you're adopting new technology like this? I mean, have
Well,
you
there's
had
always
AI not
challenge.
work or fail on you?
Yeah, there's always challenges, and I say, my saying is AI is as dumb as it's ever going to be today, but every day it gets smarter. Every day it adds more education to itself. I was a little, even gosh, 6 months to a year ago, I was always questioning the results. I still do. I still want to make sure that we're doing our homework and making sure that the results are accurate. But uh, it's even just like I say, the last 6 months, questioning the results is a lot less scary, if you will, because it's just getting smarter and smarter every day. So, and I'm telling you, I just don't think people and corporations and businesses are going to survive unless they incorporate it in some fashion. That's different for everybody, but my big fear is it's going to turn out to be that new Mission Impossible Tom Cruise movie where AI takes over and we can't shut it down.
I mean, I talked to a couple of people last week, and one was from a big broker dealer in New York, and he's one of the owners of the company I spoke to, and a company you would deal with every day on municipals, fixed income bonds, and they just no concept of AI at all. They're still doing it for long term. None of them are really looking at it. It's quite amazing where you go from a company like yourself to one of these big corporations or bigger institutions, and they have so much less knowledge. It's
No
quite
question.
scary.
It is scary. And the reality is like our company, we're kind of in an offering stage right now. We'll do some sort of a public reverse merger, an IPO, something in the next 36 months. But one of the things that's going to propel us there is we're literally crushing every mining company out there, options traders. We've pulled it all together under one roof, and our multiple is just going to be enormous. And we have to, give a lot of credit to how we've used AI over the last year and a half.
So your is it your mining company that will float or money tools?
Yeah, so it's called our mining company is called Yields Holding, and it's Yields with a Z. And yeah, so that has Bitcoin, it has Bitcoin mining, it has the options in it, and then we've added some cash flow assets to offset the electric bill. And if you know anything about mining, the cost of a Bitcoin is your cost of mining in
Yeah.
terms of electricity. Well, we've found a way to have our electricity bill paid for, so we get to keep 100% of our Bitcoin, which literally, in our mind, it gets us Bitcoin at literally no cost.
which is something most of the mining companies they just can't handle, from my experience.
No, they can't touch it. In fact, some of the largest ones, they have to sell half their Bitcoin mined just to pay their expenses. And you think about that over time, that's a huge opportunity cost to work so hard, mine a Bitcoin, and then have to sell half of it just to pay your electric bill. And you lose out on that half of Bitcoin growing over the next 10, 20 years. That's tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions,
Yeah,
billions of
lots.
dollars as far as, the size of those companies.
But when we talk about technology generally, how do you find client expectations have shifted with all the new technology and AI? Are they
Well, it's
demanding
funny.
more, or
Yeah, it's funny because, well, I'm an old dude. You can see my gray hair, right? So my age group, maybe close to your age group as well.
yeah?
It's
I'm
been
just lucky I
interesting.
never went grey.
It's
Not
been
yet,
really
anyway.
interesting because I've been almost amazed that the 55 plus community is actually embracing it a lot more than I thought they would. Um, Certainly our younger clients, yeah, sure, show me what you got in terms of AI and technology, and they love it. But I'm finding that if I can show clients what AI has helped build for us to help their portfolios grow, they're open to it and embracing it. We have a lot of older clients who've invested in the shares of our company, which again been kind of a shock. And the fact that they're getting paid out every day in Bitcoin, they've been kind of excited about it.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, I, I'm actually not surprised as well that older people are adapting to it, because when you think of the age we have lived through, when I was a kid, black and white TVs, no telephones, no mobiles, cars looked totally different. Technology was, I mean, when you think of a transformation in technology we have seen, you know, in the revolution we have lived through, we're used to change. So we're actually used to taking on risk in that way.
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I remember starting in the business and having to make a phone call to get a stock quote. And then all of
It
a
was like
sudden,
Wolf of Wall Street, wasn't it?
yeah,
Everything was done by hand signals,
yeah,
telephone shouting across the room, writing out a piece of paper. You know, exactly the same.
yeah, exactly. And then this thing called the internet showed up, and I
Yeah,
got a service called Prodigy way back in the day, and I could get a quote. It was 20 minutes old, but I could get a quote right on my computer. And then, well, nowadays, I mean, you can have your own stock trading company right in your house.
yeah, it's the speed of light. I used to, you know, among the many things I've done, I used to be a futures trader in the pits in London. I also used to have a couple of teams on the CBOT and CME, not for me, sadly, for the companies I work for. And, you know, when the electronic trading came in, you know, it was very sad, but the speed of the market just went crazy.
Oh, sure.
You know,
That
how do you,
technology. Well, then
yeah,
you and I probably had the same experience. The first phone I got was like $70 a month, and I got 20 minutes,
and it
you
was a
know,
brick.
and it was a brick.
Yeah,
And now, my grandkids are taking phones to school that are more powerful than the most powerful computers NASA had in the 70s and 80s.
yeah, it's amazing. How in your day to day, how do you find amongst your staff? You know, AI automation is something that worries people, that it's going to replace people, etc., and replace jobs. Do you find you know, you're able to balance you know, the scales between humans and automation, or are you finding it's cutting down on your head count? How are you finding that?
Well, what we've done is we've kind of asked our staff to get really good at AI, learn how to do the right kind of prompts, make your job faster and easier. And I think the best job security is being able to manage AI. And the ones who kind of ignore it and say, "Oh, I'm afraid of it. I'll do it by hand." They're the ones I think have a little bit more job, you know, scarcity, if you will. But the ones who are embracing it and taking it on, we encourage it. We want them all. I mean, if all they did was watch AI all day, it would be worth it to us because we know the AI is going to be tremendously efficient. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't take a break. It doesn't need to eat. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have to go anywhere for relaxation. So no, we're trying to embrace it as much as we can.
What about going back to the regulatory side and risk management and compliance side? Do you use that for processing, what you need to do compliance wise?
Yes. Again, our compliance department tries to run everything through AI. Just to get ahead. Maybe a warning shot over the bow, just saying, "Hey, here's something you might want to be concerned about." As you probably know, in our world, um, spitting out rates of return, you got to do it, but it's hard to do and it's hard to be conservative. I mean, some of the rates of return that we can show are so impossible to almost believe. We hardly believe them ourselves. And so we have to dumb down our projections just to kind of look like we're normal. But but we sit there and kind of behind the scenes, we're like, we're going to outperform these projections 2, 3, 5x, and obviously that'll make our clients happy. But yeah, that's that compliance side of how and what you can project is really difficult for us because particularly when you're mining Bitcoin at almost zero cost, you've got a treasury of Bitcoin. You've got options that are producing cash flow every day, every month. And when you combine all that, your returns get, like I say, very, very impressive, but hard to show. And so we always run it by AI. Hey, what's compliance going to do if we show these kinds of returns? And, obviously get the warning, be careful.
Do you have a lot of contact with regulators and have to file a lot of reports in your side of the business?
We don't as much because we've actually gotten out of the security side of things. We didn't want to trade stock. We didn't want to buy mutual funds and manage 401ks and those kinds of things. So we actually got out of the security side. So we're pretty much all alternatives. What I did is I partnered with a firm who is an RIA, who does have all the securities licenses and so forth. So when we need that kind of service, our clients just kind of couple or partner with them. So we work together, but we don't have quite the compliance nightmare that they do.
Are they into AI?
Say that again?
Are they using AI, your
Yes.
partner?
Yes.
Just one thing, how do you ensure data security in an AI driven environment?
That's a great question. I'm not sure we've got any better answer than what's already available to us. What we did on the security side for Bitcoin is we created our own multi-sig wallet. So that's been something that's been fun to do over the last little while. AI wise, propriety wise, that's a great question, and I'm not sure I've got a good answer other than just what's available out there, and what AI is doing to protect itself.
Something that we're looking at, but obviously with the I'm not focusing just purely on crypto. I've looked at crypto, and it's something we are looking at, and data security I think is very important. Just going forward, how do you see the market going forward? Emerging AI trends, and what do you think the next 5 years looks like?
I think we're going to see a lot of quote unquote expert traders because they're using AI. We're going to see guys that are creating some significant portfolios.
From a trading point of view, and I've been a trader, I mean, all the AI info and all the AI technology being squeezed into trading bots and this, that, and the other, apart from what we've talked about, will it not create a bottleneck where it's sort of, there's so much info, it's so fast, but sort of it just becomes uncontrollable? Yeah, it scares me. I mean, I'm pro it, but it scares me. Yeah. Well, it's going to eliminate the actual front runners because because everybody, well, it'll be a level playing field, depending on obviously the AI technology you have. So, have you been in one? Yeah, have you been in one? And are they scary? I can see that because even I look at bonds, and even if I'm looking at bond calculations and things like that. You don't ask a human, you ask, Chat GDP or Perplexity or one of these, AI tools, and they come up with the answer very quickly. They come up with all the, all the odds, all the pairs, all the comps. You just can't find them yourself. And you plug them into the back of Bloomberg, and you got a racing machine. Sounds fantastic. What's your advice for firms going forward and modernising their tech stack? Any advice for them? All right, Dan. Well, I think this has been very good. I mean, I think I've run out of questions, but it's been, really enlightening talking to you because, and I understand what you're talking about. We come from the same era, so it's an easy conversation. So, just in conclusion, people hopefully will see this video, this podcast. That's great. Well, I'm going to email you afterwards to get the name of your mining company properly. I'm going to stop the recording now, but don't go just yet.